He wanted me to drive him to a place that doesn't exist. This week has been hectic. My 3 kids have the flu, my oldest was first, and then my younger 2 caught it. After a visit to the clinic, I was heading to the CVS down the street from our house for their prescriptions. Last minute, I decided to drop my kids off at home with their dad so they could rest while I went inside to pick up some Pedialyte. I consider our neighborhood safe. I've taken walks after dark and never felt afraid. Most of our neighbors are older folks who have lived here over a decade. When I pulled up to the CVS, I parked on the side parallel to our street. It's darker on that side, but the entrance is just around the corner and well lit. A man was standing outside. He walked in front of my car and I could hear him talking, but my music was kind of loud, so I figured he was on his phone or something. No red flags yet. My husband called as the man walked back toward the corner by the entrance. I got out of my car, still on the phone, updating my husband about the kids and the trip to CVS. In a very pleasant voice, the man says, "Hey, I got a question for you. You know where Main Street is?" Thinking he just needed directions, I told him I did. I was still holding my phone to my ear. It's in a bright pink case, so he could definitely see it. Now, he's standing directly in front of me. Behind him were a pillar and a trash can. Around the corner, there's a propane cage and a red box against the store's wall. Getting past him would put me within arm's reach. Then he asked me for a ride to a homeless shelter. It was cold outside, and he said he didn't want to freeze. I empathized with him, but said I couldn't give him a ride. I offered to buy him gloves or a blanket or to ask an employee if they could help find him a ride. His face instantly shifted from polite to pure rage, then right back to pleasant. "Well, you know what happens to homeless people stuck outside," he said, his voice edging back toward anger. "You're going to help me. It's right down the street." I was unsure what to do. My husband, still on the phone, was asking what was going on. I told the man I didn't feel comfortable giving him a ride and mentioned that I had the flu, a lie, and that my husband was on the phone with me. "I don't care about the FLU," he snapped, angrier now, still blocking my way to the store. I didn't want to turn my back to him to go back to my car, which was several feet away in the dark. With him glaring at me, I quickly walked past, pulling my mask from my jacket pocket and holding it in front of me. He looked disgusted, but kept telling me I needed to give him a ride, saying again, "It's right down the street." But I knew where he wanted me to take him. It wasn't close, and it's a sketchy area. He kept trying to guilt-trip me, and his words felt threatening, even if he didn't actually say anything explicitly. Once I made it around the corner, I rushed inside, heading straight to the pharmacy. My husband said he was calling the police. He'd heard the way the man was talking to me and told me to stay in the store. My knees were shaking. I'm not usually the type to be so rattled in confrontations. At the pharmacy counter, I interrupted the pharmacist and a customer, apologized, and told them what happened. The pharmacist immediately sent out the store manager, a tall guy with a long beard who looked like he doesn't put up with much. The police arrived quickly, and the man was told to leave. He left, but only for a moment. He came back inside, yelling obscenities and something about me. This time, the store manager firmly told him to leave again, and he was trespassing on the property. The police officer then came back to talk to me, explaining that she'd arrested him several times. Apparently, he's loud, likes to yell at people, but isn't violent. The pharmacist even had me hide behind the screen where they give vaccines, and they left the half door to the pharmacy cracked in case I needed an exit. The cop also told me this guy's first and last name, as did the store manager, though I'm not sure if that's standard practice. Once the prescriptions were finally filled, I left the store. The police car parked right next to mine to keep an eye on me. Oh, and the man had refused a ride from the officer to the shelter. Later, I looked him up. His name was unique, so it was easy to find him online. Unsurprisingly, he had a long record spanning 3 states and several counties, with public intoxication, DWI, urinating in public, assault, battery, and even indecent exposure charges. I also looked up the homeless shelter he mentioned. As I thought, there isn't one where he wanted me to take him, just a sketchy area in general. Earlier today, I went to the corner store across from CVS and told my friend, the overnight shift employee, what happened. She said she kicks him out every time she sees him because he yells at and threatens customers. But he always takes off before the police arrive. I know I could have handled the situation better. I was blindsided by his instant shift from pleasant to enraged. Huge thanks to the pharmacy team and the store manager for keeping me safe and stepping in when they did. I'm also thankful that my husband quickly recognized I was in an unsafe situation, even over the phone.